Hey everyone, so in this video what we're going to be doing is taking a look at the slightly updated living room setup. So on first glance everything looks exactly the same, so TV mounted to the wall, and then we've got the small media stand just below it. However, quite a lot has actually changed. So what we'll do is, as I mentioned in the previous one, obviously the idea was in order to give this TV a backlight. Partly because obviously it's an LED TV, but also because of how I actually had the LED lights set up in this particular room. So if we come to the iPad and if we come to living room LEDs, if I just turn that on, as you'll see, I've got, and what I'll do is I'll just turn the lights off just to make it easier to see. So as you can see, I've got lights set up just in that area where it kind of shines against that back wall, so it lights up that side of the room. We didn't really have anything on the other side, so I'll just switch that back on again. What we'll do is we'll run through basically the changes. So initially, obviously, last time you saw this, when I actually extended the TV out, what you'll remember is the Apple TV was just there, and because of the HDMI cable for the Apple TV, it was basically dragging the Apple TV with it when I moved it. So firstly, what you will notice is if I just pull this, and that's, as you can see, this can be done one-handed. What I'll do is I'll just move this out of the way. So yes, it can be done one-handed, nice and easily, and just give us some access behind here. Right, so as you can see, rotation goes all the way around. In fact, I can actually get it so then it's facing all the way into the kitchen. I can have it going all the way there. So firstly, what we'll do is we'll take a look at what changes we've got here, and then we'll take a look at the TV itself. So the Orbi router, originally that was actually on here, just behind the TV, and I wanted to get that out of the way, and also the Apple TV as well. So firstly, the stand for the Orbi router, this one is actually metal, and I did actually drill that into the wall. It doesn't come with much, it literally just comes with the bracket and two fixings and two wall plugs. What I did do was one of the fixings I did actually change for slightly longer ones, just because of the surface of my wall. Now with this one, the actual, let me just turn the flash on for you. Right, so with the Apple TV bracket, this is actually plastic, and what it comes with is it actually comes with quite a lot in the pack. So it comes with the case for the Apple TV remote, it comes with a little lanyard, it comes with some Velcro, and it comes with the bracket itself. Now I don't actually like the Velcro style because I've actually used similar things at work, and I know that generally it doesn't tend to be the best when it comes to adhesion. So what I did was, instead of using the Velcro, and also on the reviews I did actually read some of the reviews saying that basically the Velcro didn't stick, it came off the following day or something. Now obviously the Apple TV itself is probably not heavy enough, but a lot of times, say for example when you're changing these wirings, your wiring or anything, that could be dangling down, and that could actually put more tension on it and actually peel it away. So what I actually did was I used a double-sided tape that I actually ordered from AliExpress a while back. Now the tape itself is actually meant for rugs, so what I'll do is I'll put on screen here now the actual listing for the tape, and if you look at the pricing of it, so basically it varies from between say £1 for the cheapest up to say I think the most expensive one I actually saw listed was £8, but the one I bought was roughly around £3 or £4, and it comes with a 5-meter roll. Now I've used this pretty much all over the place, so all of my trunking or conduits, however you want to actually call them, all of these are actually stuck on with that same tape. So all of these are stuck on using that same tape. I've also used that obviously for the back of the Apple TV, and all I did was I literally just cut out a few slots. The back of it has a kind of recess, so obviously on the bottom of these Apple TVs they have a little area where the fan effectively operates. It obviously doesn't do a lot, it doesn't blow anything, but it's got a sort of vents at the bottom, and I think for that they actually left a hole in the bottom of it. Now obviously the one thing about these brackets, the holder, is that you are meant to be able to actually mount it on the back of the TV. but personally I just wanted it on the wall in order to give me that access, so then I can actually move the TV completely out the way and not have to worry about any of this. Similarly, that was the idea behind putting this against the wall. Firstly, to get it slightly further away from the TV, because obviously that will be interfering with it. I mean, the coverage that I actually get from this, I'll make a separate video on that. But basically I never have any issues with Wi-Fi range anywhere in my house for that reason, because I actually have 3 of these nodes. But coming back to the point, basically I wanted to get these obviously on the wall, that way they're fixed, they're out of the way, they're hidden behind the TV for the most part, but even then I didn't actually want these wires just literally just dangling anywhere. So what I did was, obviously initially this is coming down, and then you've got your power connections at the bottom there. Obviously I've ordered some cable tidy boxes for those as well, so they'll actually be getting sorted out as well. So literally the only cable that I've got running along here is the one that actually runs across to those main LEDs. And similarly over here, so if I just come down here, and you can see just down there is where the actual main controller is, and that's basically what both of these strips are actually running off. So what I'll do now is I'll actually switch on the LEDs and we'll get onto that. Right, so obviously the main thing about this was the fact that I wanted to get these LEDs onto the back of the TV. And as you can see, this time around I did a much better job. And a little tip, and by the way, in the last video I did mention that I didn't have any of the 60 LEDs per meter rolls left over. As it turns out, I did actually have one left over. However, I wouldn't actually recommend this, and this is a tip for anybody else doing it this way. So if you're using it to cut off, so if you're literally going to the ends and you're cutting it off and then you're putting a connector on, 90 degrees connector, and you're going down, then it's fine. However, what I found was, in order to do this loop, obviously because the LEDs are so close together, it makes it a lot more difficult to actually do that. So for that reason, I'd actually recommend, if you're copying my method of doing it, then I'd recommend the 30 LEDs per meter LEDs rather than the 60. Now on the back of this TV, what I'll do is I'll go through this side first, and then I'll explain about the other side. So on this particular side, obviously you come across, you come down, and there's not really anything here, but what you do have is you have this cover. The cover is to hide away all your connections and everything, and because of that, this is removable. So what I've had to do on this side is basically come right down quite close to the edge, loop it around, and then you have the power button there, and then obviously you've got all your cables coming out here. So ordinarily what I would have done is come along here. So it would have been nice and neat, and you wouldn't need to go onto this little bump down here. Let me just turn the LEDs off to explain that. TV just bumps out a tiny bit just there, and because of that, what happens is it goes along and then it has to go back up. So basically what I wanted to do here was just give a little bit of clearance for the actual HDMI cables. At the moment, obviously I only have one connected. Eventually there will actually be 2, because right now I don't actually have the Blu-ray player connected. That will be getting connected. However, the idea is eventually this gets replaced. I'll probably get a wall shelf. I'm not sure whether I'm going to mount it directly behind the TV or just above, but basically the Blu-ray player will then go on there, and then the wire will come down, it will come along this channel, along here, and then into the TV. As you can see, the TV comes with these little kind of tabs, and at the moment I'm literally just using some cable tie, the ones that you get on any of the wiring that it comes with, and this actually works really well because you can literally just tighten it up as much as you need to, and obviously if you've got more cables, you just extend it that way. So coming on to the LED strip itself, now on the front room TV, if you remember, what I did was I actually left the extra excess cable left over. On this one, as you'll see just here, I did actually trim it off. The reason for that you'll see in a minute, but basically you've got your connection coming through here, it runs along there, it goes down the channel, comes across, goes down, and then it comes out, and then it runs along all the way around. Just push the TV back and we'll take a look at the other side, and as you can see, this is how easy it is to actually maneuver, and you've got loads of flexibility as well. So now that we've got the flash turned on, so as you can see, so we're running along the top. Once again, this is that same sort of thing that I mentioned, so whenever you want to go down, in order to make a corner that won't peel off again, you have to do the opposite of the way that you want to go. So if you want to go down, what you do with the LEDs is you go up and then down. So we come down. Now this side, the reason I've kept it so far in is because sometimes what I do is, in order to get a better viewing angle for all three seating positions, I don't put it all the way in. I'll probably leave it like that. So you can get it almost completely flat in the two corners, but if you just rotate it a little, then the viewers there get a slightly better view. And because of that, if you see just down here, basically this is where it's touching against the wall, so that's probably the position you can have it in right now. This is where originally it was, and then you can also have it slightly further out to there. So because of that, I didn't want it right on the corner. Plus obviously because this is so curved, and what you'll notice is when I actually push this back, this edge, basically you will get a lot of bleeding through. So what I did was, when I initially started it, obviously I started it there and I've run it along here, and the first thing that I actually did was, I'll just push this back in. First thing I actually did was I pushed it into position and I checked to see how far out these lights were projecting, because what I didn't want is, I didn't want light being shone this side of the wall. I just want everything that side, and just basically give the illusion behind the TV. So essentially what I did was I worked out how far in I needed it, and then I brought it straight up from there. Another quick little tip is, when you're doing this, as I did mention previously, so obviously what you want to do is you want to put the clips on the strip first and then go up. But what you also want to do is you want to do them in opposite directions as well. So as you can see with this clip, I've got it so then the LEDs come in this way. With the next one, this one up here, I've done it the opposite. The reason for that is, what it does is it keeps the LEDs kind of straight. So that one's going that way. If we come up to the next one, you can see it's going the opposite direction. Next one's the opposite direction again, and so on. So the only ones that you don't really need to do that for is the top. However, I have done it in a few positions just to keep a little bit of tension on it, and that just keeps it from actually sagging and basically changing shape. So as I mentioned a little earlier on, obviously I've trimmed this piece here. Originally this actually came all the way around to about here, and obviously as you can see from where this cable is, this would have interfered. Now I didn't want, this is actually a 3-meter extension cable. I think it's 3 meters that I actually bought separately. So obviously that's a big plus for this TV, the fact that you can actually change the AC cable. But basically this gives me loads of flexibility in terms of being able to move the TV around. But on this particular TV, unlike the front room where I've got the media console lights as well, on this one it was actually better literally just to trim it off. And any of these gold points that you can see here is where you can trim these ones off. And obviously because these are the 60 LED ones, everything is condensed a lot more. So all of this, you can probably see it in the actual strip, the fact that it's got a lot more ripples in it, because everything is squashed down so much more. So you actually get a lot more of these. They're a lot more condensed, so it's probably a bit easier to actually work out where you want it on this one, if you did want to actually trim them. So as you can see, quite a lot of changes have been made, and what I'll do is finally I'll just switch on the LEDs and you can see what kind of effect it actually gives here. So obviously ignore that part at the bottom just yet. Literally that will probably be getting mounted somewhere up there eventually, and I need to work out what I'm going to do with regards to the charging stations, because at the moment I've got the iPad which is always charged here, and I've also got one extra cable as well that I've got for just plugging in a phone or something. I did actually have a wireless charger on here as well, but it didn't really get used very much. What I'll do now is I'll just kill the actual living room light, and this is essentially the effect that you're getting. Once again, same with the living room one. I think because True Tone is actually on my, not True Tone, night mode, the night shift mode is enabled on my screen at the moment. The colours look slightly off, but it's basically like a teal colour in the background at the moment. And if I come around this side, as you can see, it's the same sort of colour around this side as well. So with this, obviously with this being the LED TV it is, it does actually give quite a nice background to this, and it's probably more necessary. I probably still wouldn't actually watch something on the TV with it like this, but obviously for as an effect and just a sort of a background, just to diffuse it when you actually want it, just to save your eyes a little, because this TV does actually get quite bright. So obviously if you're watching really contrasty kind of content, then it can help just to have a little bit of ambient light in the room. So yeah, so quite a lot has been done already. There will be probably another update to this, for the fact that obviously this probably will end up going. The Blu-ray player, we're not 100% sure yet whether we're going to keep using that, because we do actually have obviously the PS4. The only thing I'm thinking is ideally I don't really want to get the shelf up there, because it will just look more cluttered. But obviously if I do get the PS5 and the PS4 will probably end up in this room, it means that if I do get some shelves, at least that way I can just put the PS4 there. So you've got the PS4 in here and the PS5 in there. So for that reason, probably a 2-shelf wall mount would probably be the ideal scenario. However, the issue with that is, because this is quite an old Blu-ray player, it's quite large. So this is about 43 centimeters or something like that, and most of the shelves that you get nowadays are around about 35 in terms of width, and probably about 23 or 24 in terms of depth. So they're not very large, and obviously this would probably end up overhanging the shelf probably about that much on either side. So because of that, it's making it quite difficult to actually find something that I like and does actually work out. The only other issue that I have is, if I just bring the camera down, and what I'll do is I'll just put it down. So as you can see just down here, all of my wiring plugs are along essentially in the middle of this wall. So if we come over here and look down, as you can see, they start just about there and it goes around to about there. Now the problem with that is, even though I'm pretty sure that all of this wiring is actually going down into under the ground and under the floorboards and wiring that way, there is actually a metal tunnel that was put in, a metal support, and because of that, drilling into this particular wall is quite challenging. I may have mentioned it when I actually talked about the wall mount, the fact that one of the bolts I actually got very lucky in the sense that it didn't go straight in, it had to go in at an angle, and it was because of that metal kind of shielding that it actually caused this. So basically I drilled, obviously the drill went in, but once you're putting your fixing in, it's actually going in at a slight angle. Now what I'm worried about is I don't really want to put the media shelves right into this corner, because firstly that's quite a reach, even though it'll probably end up about here, so for me personally it'll be okay, but for the kids in it, they'll be leaving it over the TV. And ideally I don't really want it on this side either, because that would probably be sticking out. It wouldn't really look right if you've got a media console literally sticking out to about here. So it's kind of, I need to get it far enough across, and in order to do that, obviously I need to work out how close, probably to where the mount is at the moment. That's probably about as far as I can go across. So it's probably about here. So it's a case of working out whether that is a suitable place for the actual mounts that are available via eBay or Amazon or anywhere else. But as I say, so everything that I've talked about in this video will be listed in the description below. So obviously for the Orbi mount, that's one that I'd highly recommend, because it is really good construction. It's metal, really simple to fit, and basically probably about 20-30 minutes job, drilling, tidying up, and your job's done. It has actually got a channel behind it. Obviously it's got the main ring, and it has actually got a channel where the wires are coming down, so obviously all your wiring doesn't actually get trapped either. Same thing with the Apple TV 1, it actually comes with the accessories, which probably cost about £5 on their own. So the fact that you're getting the mount as well is really good value. And then obviously the LED strip and everything for that. I did order an extension in order to get the same cable across to here, because what I wanted was, I wanted this room to be linked off the same one. And if I just turn on that one, this one, So if I turn on the kitchen lights, as you can see, the kitchen then lights up on a separate color completely. So if I just kill the living room lights, as you can see now, you've got a bit of contrast in terms of different colors. And what I can also do, obviously I can change my life export to a different color as well, and if I wanted to I could actually sync all of this up so I could have the same color on basically every LED in my house. At the moment I'm preferring having a little bit of contrast, and as you can see, obviously I've got controls for everything right here, so I can literally control the lights, all the LEDs, everything. So yeah, that's the update. Any questions with regards to any of the setup or any of the products used, obviously just drop them down in the comments below. And until the next one, thank you very much for watching.